Hello, and welcome back to the Binary One podcast, where we explore the full spectrum of electronic music from EDM to Vaporwave and everywhere in between. We've got a pretty good show for you today. Joining me are the usual B1 crew. We got Booze Guzzler and D Charles. What's up, guys? And joining us, yo, Zach, what's up? joining us, joining us from sunny Hawaii. Today is Russ from Retro Game Core. Over the past year or so, he has been reviewing and discussing retro gaming devices and software geared towards retro emulation. His comprehensive installation guides and thorough reviews have gotten him the attention of retro communities online, including the SBC Gaming subreddit. Russ, welcome to the show. Yeah, yeah, we're all here, and it's how early is it there in Hawaii? Rising and grinding. But yeah, we're here. Before we start into the questions discussion, kicking off the podcast was Stay, which is by 2MA, a little project by one of our favorite artists, Evans and Ula Days. But getting into things here, Russ, what kind of got you into the space of retro gaming and emulation? Yeah. Sweet. Actually, from your videos, I got my first retro handheld. It's the RG351V by Amberneck. I love the vertical like Game Boy aesthetic to it, and then I'm running another one of your like videos. I put 351 elec on there. So yeah, and even I think this case is from your video too. The the Amazon. So yeah, big fan. Mhm. Yeah. Oh, I can I can hear him fine in the Discord, so I don't know what the issue would be. Huh. Jesus Christ. No audio from Russ. Yeah, I don't know what the fix for that is. Let's just put the image up for a brief pause, folks. We'll be right back, and we'll try to see if we can get y'all to hear Russ. Yep. All right. Be right back, folks. All right. Go ahead and talk a little bit. People in the Discord call that aren't me. Okay, now I see. There's no volume thing happening on desktop audio capture. Hold on just a sec. Now I know what the problem is. Just kidding. Image.
Okay, hey, this is Russ from Retro Game Core. How's my audio now? How about now? They sound okay now? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, James, how's it going? I see you in the chat.
Good. All right. Chat, how we doing? I'll wait for the delay to see if we got that.
All right, James is saying there we go. So it looks
Cool.
like it's back.
Audio and video, we figured it out. Sick. Okay.
Nice.
So we didn't hear Jack from the
All right,
actual
I think
interview.
we're okay.
Besides
I
me
heard-
talking. So basically just me. Yeah. All right.
So just do all that again, except with sound this time.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And to liven things up, my headphones are about to die, so I gotta plug them in as we're talking. All right.
Okay, so you want me to give my quick spiel again?
Yes. So everyone
Sure.
heard my questions, so then we can just talk a bit about your start with getting into the retro gaming space.
Yeah, so it all started part of the pandemic. So I was sent home, right at the beginning of it, and at some point I had no idea when I was going to be coming back, and so I tried to find something to fill the time. I didn't want to bake sourdough bread all day like everybody else, and so I ended up starting an album. So I've been a musician for years and years, but I haven't really touched music in like 15 years. And so I had a couple guitars at home, and I was like, I'm gonna make an album. And so I actually did, and it was okay. But once I was done with that, I decided that I wanted to do something else, and I couldn't really figure that out. And I ended up just turning to playing video games, like PS4 games and stuff. And I got bored with that pretty quick. And then I saw some YouTube videos, because everyone was on YouTube at the time, about retro handheld devices. And it was right around the time the Retroid Pocket 2 was coming out. And so I ended up buying that and an RG350. And when I first got the RG350, I was like, I don't know how to use this thing. Like, I don't know anything about Linux or any of this junk. And so I ended up figuring out how to make it all work by using like various parts of the internet. And so at some point I was like, I should make my own guide. And so I started doing that. And then I was like, well, I should make a website so I can put this guide on there. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to make a website, I should make some visual things. So I'll make a YouTube channel too. And then just over the months, it's been about a year now. Over the months, the YouTube part of it has just kind of taken over, which was never the intention. That was just supposed to be a supplement to the website itself. So, but that's the world we live in now. And so, yeah, now I'm a YouTuber, which is like crazy. But anyway,
Have it
yeah,
on your resume, dude.
yeah,
Be proud.
I actually have. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
I
Nice.
mean, you're halfway to 100K, so I'd say you're doing the right thing. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, and it's funny. It's like I started it with the intention of never having an audience and didn't really care for that part of it, like there was no goal in mind. And so I just kind of let my hair down and was like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. If I find something that I find funny, I'm going to go with it, even if people don't like it. You know what I mean? And it turns out that people like it. So it's all good. So cat breaks and all that stuff.
Fuck them. They're not subscribed to you anyways.
It's funny you say you kind of did whatever you felt like doing, because I listened to a lot of like podcasts with other YouTubers on. That's exactly what they say they did. They just said, I enjoyed something, so I recorded it, and then all of a sudden it blew up, kind of thing.
Right.
So
yeah, there's all sorts of like gimmicks and stuff to game whatever. I don't even look at that stuff. To me, it's like I'm gonna stay what's true to what I like, and if other people like it, then let's do it together.
All right.
that's right.
That's a good way to view it. Like, just
Yeah.
post what you like doing, and then it doesn't seem like it's that hard to do at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that classic cliche. You work doing what you love, and you don't work a day in your life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like-
Saul in the chat says, "Are they reading the chat?" Yes, we are, as it comes in. And
Jim is. I can't read. I'm a gamecock, so we didn't get the best education.
good enough for me says, "Ask him to say the thing."
What's the thing?
I don't
Say the
know.
thing?
I think I might know what the thing is, but I'll see. Can you elaborate? Good enough for me.
I got so many things. Do you really want to do this thing or whatever?
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, man, I want to do it.
Yeah, man, I want to do it.
I don't know how that turned into a thing, but it's funny.
That's how I always feel though. Like when I would tinker with like Android devices, or even when I was doing the work on the RG351V, and I was like, this might brick or whatever. I was like, I want to do it. Like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we hit
Nice.
the catchphrase I wanted to hear. Check. So back when you were talking about building up your channel, you were talking about the research you were doing. Is there like a set method you go about now when you're, like researching a device or software or installation?
Yeah, so it's I rely a lot on the community, so I will read through all the different Discords and Reddits and stuff and try to figure out where the problems are, what are people asking questions about and stuff. And so then I try to do the research, and I end up like pinging a lot of devs and stuff and saying, hey, specifically, how would you do this and approach this problem and stuff? Because I'm not that guy with the background. And so one thing I do like to do is just take lots of information and put it into something that's digestible. And so I do spend a lot of time researching. It's that's why you'll see a lot of various content on my website, because I can't do that like every video because it's just exhausting. And so that's when I do a review of like a case or something, because I'm just like, I need a break, but I'll make a video and we're going to spend 10 minutes talking about this stupid case, And so that's what I end up doing instead. And but yeah, a lot of research goes into it. And I've always, I probably have 10 videos in my mind already where I've done various parts that'll show up in the next 10 videos, but I kind of do them all at once. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Very cool.
What's your favorite retro console?
We'll
Oh,
get
man.
there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh.
We got a schedule to keep to here.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking of schedules and listening to some music, we're going to jump in with some new music. This is Radar by T120. It's coming up now.
Oh, this one's good. I really like this one.
All right, I think we're back. That was Radar by T120, who's been just cranking out music and has been a really great contributor to our Discord community in particular. Very active there, giving a lot of great feedback and putting out a ton of music. Just want to give a quick shout out.
Yeah, he's cool.
And after that track, Radar, was Vitrify by one of our legacy artists, Corazon. So that was that set. Jumping right back into our discussion on retro gaming.
Jim, nothing's up on screen.
Well, that would, yeah. This is audio only now. Deal with it. Just kidding. Display capture. There it is. Hey. All right, folks. So a little bit on how the sausage is made. Try to use really cool shortcuts on my keyboard so I can just like pop them in, switch between the tracks and the talking discussion stuff you see here, but doesn't always work that way. I like jumped into OBS Studio after a few months and all my shortcuts were just like, or hotkeys were not working. So thanks for sticking with us.
It's the beta test.
Luckily you at least heard what we were talking about. So yes, back to our retro gaming discussion. So one of the big questions, I know you've got videos about your favorite devices, but is there a personal favorite or like multiple favorites retro game that you have that you play regularly?
Like actual game?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where I got into this to play the old games from my childhood, and now I don't really get to play any games because I'm working on tutorials and stuff instead. And so I rarely get to sit down and actually play a game. But there's certain things I like to do it often, and so like for example, Super Mario Brothers 2 is like my all-time favorite game, and so I try to run through that game, every once in a while and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've got like on my RG351V, which kind of actually sits at my bedside. I play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the old DS game. I've been playing through that for like months now, and I'm just about to finish it. And so I'll do 20 minutes a day of that one too. And playing DS games on that thing, like without a touchscreen, is actually kind of a pain. Like you got to hit all the buttons to switch screens and do all this other stuff. But yeah, I just got used to it. So that's probably one of the main ones I play right now. But it's funny in general, like when you see me playing a game on a tutorial, that's like the only time I get to play games. And so it's kind of ironic, but I love it. I love what I'm doing anyway. So
yeah,
it's funny how a channel about retro gaming doesn't let you retro game.
I know. Yeah. I feel bad for some of those bigger YouTubers who will always show the same games, and they're testing. And I do that often. I'll repeat the games just to be able to show performance. They are probably so sick of those games because I am, you know what I mean? And these guys have been doing it for years. And so like Sonic Adventure 2, I never want to play that game, but I show it off pretty often when I'm showing off Dreamcast. So
I mean, that's like, I can't tell you another Dreamcast game than Sonic Adventure.
Crazy Taxi. That's like the only one I can think of, like quintessentially Dreamcast is Crazy Taxi.
Dreamcast is barely outside of when I was a kid. Like I had the Sega Genesis, like the one with the CD drive when I was a kid. And then we sold it at a yard sale instead of keeping it. And I'm like, why did we do that? So like that's like the earliest console I have. And then I had a Game Boy Color. But those were like, I was so young, I only remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog on my Genesis. And that's it. I don't remember anything else, like on my Game Boy or anything like that.
Yeah, we grew up with the Genesis too because it was cheaper than the Super Nintendo. I came from a big family, and so they were like, yeah, they cheaped out on us, got us the Genesis instead. So I definitely remember Sonic.
Yeah,
Sonic, I think, is not gameplay wise my favorite, but music wise is probably the best out of that era. Especially Sonic 3, when Michael Jackson did the soundtrack for it, low key. That's a great soundtrack for retro. Like, what is it called? It's Bit something. Bit Tune. Something like
Chip tunes,
Chip tune. That's it. That's probably the best example of chip tune right there. Just from a music standpoint.
We got some questions in the chat we wanted to hit up. So first one is from Benighted. It's the question is, where does the Retro Game Core name come from?
Yeah, so that was like me sitting in front of like GoDaddy and be like, oh, what am I going to come up with for a URL? And I knew I wanted the word retro game so people knew what it was about. And then I wanted to use the regular word core, like CORE, just as like a nucleus kind of idea. But that was taken. And so I was like, okay, well, core, there's the other core. And, I've probably mentioned it a couple times before in previous other things, but I'm in the military. I've been in the Navy for like 21 years now. And so core, like Marine Corps just kind of resonated. I was like, yeah, it's like a group of people united in a cause. And I was like, okay. So I just threw it all together, and I thought it was just enough tongue-in-cheek to make it funny. And so went with it. Yeah.
Nice. JSol wants to like go deep in here, asking, are you monetized? And if so, how much do you make, if you're okay with saying that?
Yeah. So, after you get 1,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, they allow you to like run ads. And so you get like a piece of the ads that are running. And so I just have it all set to default, whatever. I don't actually mess with any of that stuff. It gets a little bit of income. I'll just say a couple grand a month, which is pretty great. And so I use that to buy all of the things that I show on the channel. So that way I'm not like digging into our savings or something to buy a handheld, because my wife would kill me. And so that's basically what I do is I fund everything that I show through that basic. It's like a self-leaking ice cream cone kind of thing. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool and great. And it's not paying for my kids' college, but it's definitely feeding my addiction. So.
Nice.
Hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
Just remember, don't get high off your own supply. That's the
cardinal. Alberto asks, could Russ share the origin story of chicken?
Yeah. So we were in Hawaii for years and years and years, and then we moved back to the mainland. My wife was like 8 months pregnant at the time. We moved to Maryland and for work, and we just wanted a pet. You know, we hadn't had a pet here in Hawaii just because my wife's parents weren't really into it, and so we were like, okay, let's get a cat. And so we went and looked around at some adoption places, and we found. I just pointed it out at the place in the kennel. I was like, that cat looks cool. And so we grabbed her and kind of had a look, and yeah, she was great. Her name was Truffles at the time, and we said that name's not staying. So we changed it. Initially we changed it to mochiko chicken, which is a dish here. It's like fried, like mochiko is like a rice flour, and so we fry it in Hawaii. It's like a fried chicken dish, and so we thought it was really funny to call her mochiko chicken, and we called her mochi for a long time. But chicken just kind of stuck with my son once he was born and stuff. He just kept calling her chicken, and so he was really confused what a chicken was for a while. And anyway, so that was the story of chicken. The only regret we have with her is that she was a kitten when we got her. She had a brother, looked a lot like her, just a male cat, and we didn't take the male cat because we were like, we can't have two cats in the house. And just over the years, we've been like, man, it would have been cool if we had also gotten the brother, but we never did. And so it's been 13 and a half years now that we've had her in our family. It's pretty awesome.
Wow,
sweet.
That's old.
Yeah. I'm old. I know I look like I'm young, but I'm old.
I mean, you're the one that ousted yourself. I wasn't going to say anything.
It's all good. Yeah.
Well, he didn't join the Navy as a baby, so I don't think he's 21 years old. All right. So keeping things rolling here, we've got some more new music to share. Up next is going to be Geese Goose by our legacy artist Mork, coming up as soon as I switch it over.
A lot of honks in this one.
All right, it's coming back here, folks. Video and audio is here. After Geese Goose, we got to chill out with Lucy by Vieira and hear from the latest track from Greta, Influx, featuring Adam Ford. And we're still here with Russ from Retro Game Core. We've talked a bit about retro games, but are there any recent favorites you've been playing that aren't necessarily retro that's been released, like more AAA titles?
So, yeah, good question. So the BioShock trilogy came out, like I forgot what they're calling it, Legendary Edition or whatever. And I played through all those games when they first came out. And like, I remember when like Mass Effect 3, everyone was freaking out about the ending and they made a new ending and all that crap. And so, I knew I wasn't going to have the time to jump into that, but my son had just finished school and he kind of gotten in trouble. He was being a punk, and I was like, all right, you're not allowed to play any video games but this BioShock game. And so, like, if you want to play a game, you got to play that one. And he's like, oh, I want to play Minecraft. And so he ended up playing through the whole thing. And I would just come in and watch and stuff and watch the decisions he would make. And he was just making bad decisions. It's pretty funny. And but yeah, he learned a lot, I think, just in terms of like how to run, like play a shooter, like an over the shoulder camera kind of style game and stuff, and then role playing and stuff, switching out your inventories and stuff. So it was kind of cool. He's 12, watching him do that. The funniest thing for me was that, in Mass Effect, there are certain adult scenes you can unlock by creating relationships with the other characters or whatever. Mm-hmm. He had no clue that any of that existed. You know what I mean? He played it like a 12-year-old. He didn't go that route. And so I was like, man, is this going to be a journey of discovery for him? Nope. He's just like just building his inventory and killing aliens or whatever. So that was like our most recent kind of fun with video games. Pretty cool.
A great modern game I highly recommend is Doom Eternal. Soundtrack is amazing. Gameplay is amazing.
I think that's a little too bloody for him, but
for him, I'll say it for you.
Oh, for me. Okay, yeah, definitely. I did play through the one reboot of Doom, the 2016 version or whatever. I just haven't gotten around to doing Doom Eternal yet. Part of me is kind of I like to wait for when new consoles come out. I wait a few years, so that way they're actually available, and sometimes the price will go down. And so I'm not in the PS5 or Series X like world at all yet, but I will in a few years. And so Doom Eternal is one of those where I want to create a backlog of games, so that way when I jump into the catalog, I can buy that game for $20 or whatever instead of 60 or 70. And yeah, that's definitely on the list.
It's a good one. Just soundtrack wise, if you're at the gym, you could just blast Doom Eternal soundtrack.
Nice.
It's so good. They had this like a knockoff, like kind of spoof of Doom called Boom. It was like a boomer driving a lawnmower it was like the old like Doom one, but they modded it so you're just mowing your lawn.
Yeah.
And in the current Eternal soundtrack, they sampled the lawnmower noise from that spin-off
my gosh.
And put it into the soundtrack. it's so good. I can't sing the praises of that soundtrack enough.
That's
so
awesome.
Good.
Man, I'd love to work at like a game studio where I can do cool stuff like that. Be like, yeah, some people ripped this and I'm going to rip them. And that's awesome.
And a little follow-up question in terms of like modern gaming. What are your thoughts on Steam Deck? You said, I think in one of your videos, it said you're going to be pre-ordering that device. You got a spot in line for that?
Yeah, I pre-ordered the highest tier one, mostly because it had that anti-glare screen, and I was like, well, I might as well go big. And so, yeah, I got that, and I'm excited about it. I think that it's gonna, I think as a handheld, it's gonna have its flaws. All of them do, but it's gonna open up a whole new world of people who didn't know anything about this stuff. And so I'm hoping to kind of grow the community more by having like outsiders come in, and I'm getting that a lot where people are like finding, because I did one video about the Steam Deck and it kind of it blew up a little bit more than I was expecting. And it was an outsider's like audience, like people coming in that weren't anything a part of my community at all. Yeah. But then they found other stuff. And so I saw comments like, oh, I came here because of your Steam Deck video or whatever. And so that's really awesome to me, and that's what I'm hoping is going to happen just in the future as this releases. I do hope it's successful, but if it's not, like that's all good too, because the community, that's what we do. We take these broken things that get sent to us where the software and everything is an afterthought, and then these independent developers basically just use their spare time to like use it as a project, and then everyone gets to benefit from it. So even if the Steam Deck just fails miserably, which I don't think it's going to, there's going to be people there to pick up the slack because it's a powerful machine and we can do a lot with that. And so I'm really looking forward to how that works. I just hope that it's comfortable in the hands and not too big. It does seem very large, so we'll see how that goes.
Does it have mod support? Because if it does, that thing's going to just have infinite content, basically. Or is it only able to run Steam?
No, so it's going to be running a Linux-based Steam OS is what the initial operating system's on it, but they've come out and said it's a computer, you can install anything on it, and so that's been my big draw. Is there's a software called Batocera. It's like a firmware that you can load onto a hard drive or an SD card or whatever, and then within that, it's self-contained Linux operating system. It'll run everything up through PS3 as long as the machine it's plugged into can handle it, and so. Essentially, you could take an SD card, flash Batocera on it, and say you have a 500 gig SD card, and you throw all the games and everything on that SD card. You don't have to take any of the space up on the Steam Deck. You can use that for whatever you want, but you plug this SD card in, and all of a sudden you've got a gaming machine that can play everything up through PS3 and potentially even Switch if you can get it running, which would be amazing to be able to have your own console that'll play Switch games and sometimes in higher resolution than Switch itself.
Nintendo would be so mad. They'd be so mad.
I know. Yeah. But I mean, people are already doing it on laptops and stuff. It's just a matter of doing it on this thing. So
right.
Yeah, I actually watched a guy on YouTube. I bought his book. He's more on the programming side of it. Like he programs all these old game consoles and stuff. And I just can't imagine how the Steam Deck is going to change the industry. I mean, you'll literally be able to run any console up, like you said, up until probably PS3 or maybe PS4. But I think it's going to be really awesome for the modding community. I think there's going to be a lot of cool games, like indie games and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
As cool as that is, though, you got to think about now we have portable League of Legends. Anger in places is going to skyrocket.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
People throwing their Steam Decks.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see like the PS Vita, right? That's a system that basically just kind of sputtered out here in the US, but the community behind it, because it's such nice hardware, they just figured out how to make it work, and then now there's a whole community behind that. And so I'm hoping the same thing with Steam Deck too, but we'll be bringing in PC gaming as well, which will be pretty awesome.
The fact that it runs the entire Steam library is crazy to me. Like,
yeah.
That is probably, no joke, the most games a console has probably ever had.
Right?
Like,
oh, yeah.
And it all runs on Linux, which is nuts. Like, I bet Microsoft's sweating really hard right now.
Let's see if they can pull it off, though, because we remember Valve tried to do a console before, and it flopped. So we'll see how this goes.
Right. So. Yeah, I think they've learned a lot from those mistakes. A lot of those compatibility issues, and that the new Steam OS, they at least intend to have almost every game available, playable through Steam through their like medium software that they're using. And so I do think that there's a lot of opportunity there. There's going to be people complaining like, I can't play X game on it, therefore it sucks. I'm like, well, you can play tens of thousands of other games, so it's okay.
I can't think of a game that's not on Steam. Other than like World of Warcraft, but
that and like Nintendo IP.
Yeah.
But someone will figure that one out eventually. I mean,
yeah.
I think people already have. It's people are stealing Nintendo games left and right, and they have for years.
Yeah. That's I think that's the big draw of that Batocera thing is that you could play through everything on the Nintendo catalog, legally, obviously, but
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on Nintendo for making their games still be $60 when they're 15 years old. Of course, people are going to pirate it, dude.
They sued that one guy's website. All he hosted was like old Game Boy games that they don't even sell anymore. I was like, wow.
All the music takedowns and the gameplay takedowns they used to do on YouTube, they don't do it anymore because the way Nintendo operates it with internet stuff, it's like, all right, 5 years later, they'll catch up to what happened in 2013. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're
totally.
famously bad.
Yeah, they're very litigious, and that's why I don't do a lot of Nintendo hardware content on my channel because I'm like, I don't want them coming after me. I don't want to get on their radar, and so.
I'll send a ninja suit.
Everyone's always like, oh, can you mod a Switch and a DS and show us how to do it? I'm like, nope.
That's a good call. Nintendo. They're just so random. They just like shoot a gun into the dark, and then whatever it hits, they take down. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can have people like Game Grumps do an entire like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker gameplay thing, and then you play one snippet of a Mario soundtrack, and then that's it. Your video's gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's I don't think they know. Like
Yeah.
I remember way back in the day, it was probably like 11 or 12. I was modding a PSP, and I forget exactly why you had to do it, but you had to take apart the battery and like cut a part out or whatever.
Yep.
I posted a YouTube video, and Sony initially like said take it down, but then through the resolution system, they just wanted me to demonetize it. So I was like, okay, so they at least let me keep it up for a long time. But the funny thing was, then I modded a Nexus. Gosh, what was that? What was the one before the 4, Jim? What was that called?
Galaxy Nexus or the
Nexus X or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed how to mod that and replace stuff, and Google actually made me take it down. So it was funny how the difference in between companies of what they want up there and what they don't. So
Google's like, shit, tens of people are gonna see this.
Yeah. It had 1,000 views. I was like, what's the big deal? People are literally just trying to fix. It was like a button fix, like how to fix the power button. But
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, I remember the battery mods on the PSP. That was pretty ingenious that someone figured that out. Nowadays, you don't have to do that, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they said if you just don't want it modded anymore, you just take a pencil and you pencil back in the cut you made, and that will conduct the electricity. It was crazy how easy it was. Yeah.
You can do pencil stuff? Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Because the graphite, I guess, is conductive or whatever. So
who thought of drawing in their PSP?
Someone on a lot of drugs and alcohol.
Well, what if I draw a line and then pray that this works?
All right. Bringing us into the next stretch of music. This is off of Heister's new EP, Gazing into Oblivion. This is 11.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good song.
And we're back. All right, so following Heister, we heard from our friend T120 again with Sanctuary, and legacy artist Evans was giving us another awesome chill track, Enter the Dream. As we come towards the end of the show, I'd like to talk about what's next for Retro Game Core. Any big projects or anything else coming up in the near future?
You know, it's funny, but I'm always at a period where I'm actually playing catch up. You know, like I have a list of just things I want to work on, and I never seem to get to them because something else comes in the mail or whatever, and I gotta scramble. And I'm learning as I focus more on the quality of my videos, it takes longer and longer to make one, and so it's just a lot of effort. And so in terms of like big plans or things like that, no, I mean I started this channel to show off the things I like, and then maybe give people other options of things that are available, and then how to get the most out of their devices. And I don't really plan on straying from that at all. I'm not going to get a paid advertisement gig anytime soon. That's not really my deal. So, so really just kind of keep chugging along and keep doing this as much as possible. I think the Steam Deck is going to be a big thing. You know, I'll look forward to that. And I don't plan on making more videos about it until I get it in my hands, because I'm not a big fan of speculating about stuff, especially on YouTube, because then people are going to come back and be like, hey, you said this thing and it's not true, and then they're going to blame me or something. And so I'll just wait till I have it.
That's fair. That drove me nuts with the Switch Pro speculation, was like all these YouTube channels just like, it's coming, and then we get the OLED.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, give you nothing, now congratulate us and buy it.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like with the Apple fanboys, they do the same thing with like, oh, here's the next laptop or whatever, and it's like they're just guessing, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time or other people's time doing that.
Remember when Apple charged us $300 for a computer stand?
Yeah.
Not even the computer.
No, that was $1,000 for that stand, for the display stand.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was $300 for the wheels for the Mac Pro or something like that.
Yeah, which didn't have locks on them, so if you put it on an uneven surface, like on concrete floors, it would just slide away.
Oh my god. It's $300. You could put brakes on it. Like
it was hilarious. MKBHD did a piece on it. He's like, yeah, my floors are slightly uneven, so his computer's like sliding on the floor.
They charge you $30 for a little wedge to put in the wheel.
Jeez.
Yeah, the Apple wedge.
It's just a little door stopper with the Apple logo on it. Made it weird.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff coming out that will probably be keeping you busy. Like the Project Valhalla is like, I feel like that's imminent now. Like probably going to be like fall or holiday release.
What's that?
And it's like a $200 Android handheld that can run up to like GameCube, I think. I mean, like GameCube.
Yeah, so it's gonna have a cell phone processor inside of a Snapdragon 800 something, and not sure yet, but I think it's gonna be 6-inch screen and Android based, so you'll be able to do lots of like streaming and stuff. So for example, playing your Xbox or PlayStation and stuff like that. And as James just mentioned, they changed the name now to Odin is the official name of it now, and the Indiegogo should be out. Whatever, but when it is out, I think it's going to sell out pretty well.
Yeah,
we'll see. Steam Deck kind of took a little bit of that momentum, but I think that still the $200 price point, people are going to be excited.
Oh
yeah, that's hardly anything. I mean, the Steam Deck's going to be like what, $600, $500, somewhere around
Starts
there.
At 400, but it goes up to 6 something. Yeah,
and it's something you like. It's kind of like it's kind of like a parallel with the smartphone like industries. For a while, like low to mid-range devices were not great, and then at a certain point, like mid-range was finally getting like comparable to a flagship experience. We're finally starting to see that trend happening, because for like I think 2 years now, we've had this same rock chip in all of the like Ambernic and Powkiddy devices, and because there's been no need to I mean, like finding a chip to do that's pretty hard, but then so now that we're finally having that technology that come around, these like lower end devices are going to be getting better as well, and then we get the high end stuff coming out, like there's all these Windows handhelds, the Steam Deck, that are going to be the top higher tier.
Right, and that's really where Steam Deck is capitalizing, because a lot of those cost $1,000, and they're really kind of undercutting that. They're definitely selling it at a loss, I think, at $400, but that's so awesome for everybody else. So.
Right. And I mean, Steam's just like, think about all the new people buying games. That's where the money is, not the Steam Deck itself. So
Yeah, they are doing very well with profits just from Steam game sales alone. You know, I read something there. You know, they're not a huge company, right? But per employee, profits are something like $16 million per employee. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's kind of
Imagine
like,
what you're making.
it's
Big
like
Daddy.
Microsoft and Sony, right? They sell at a loss, I'm pretty sure, for their console.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got the Xbox Series X, and
Mm.
yeah, they were making these at a loss because
Yeah,
they
definitely.
knew because they've been pushing Game Pass so hard that
Right.
they're going to make all the money back off Game Pass, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're going to capitalize on those people who pay for the year and then they never play it, and then it's just free money at that point. You
Right,
know?
exactly.
Right.
The Game Pass is cool though. If y'all heard like what it gives you, it's probably the most consumer friendly like game deal on the market, and I say that wholeheartedly. You pay a monthly fee and you get a huge, massive Microsoft. Now that they bought Bethesda, you get all these games and you pay nothing for them. You just download them and you just
Right.
pay the sub. It's
Yeah.
it's really consumer friendly, and then you cancel it anytime. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, and I wish that I had more time to devote to playing games because I would get it. You know what I mean? Because I think it is an incredible value, and that monthly price totally worth it. You know,
Yeah.
especially for the amount of value you get out of it.
For someone in your profession too, you can pick up a game and then stop playing it, and then pick up another game, and not even you don't even have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You just have it. So
yeah, I was really excited about Stadia when it was first announced because I was like, oh, this is like that, but also in the cloud, so you don't even have to download or install anything. You just play it, right? But the fact that they charge you full price per game just for the ability to play it, and then an upcharge if you want to have better streaming quality and stuff, it's just it's not the right model, unfortunately, and it's not available in Hawaii anyway because of the long distance to the nearest data center. So it's all good.
Making people pay for the games is a bad move. The game should have been free, and the monthly sub should have been it. Like you pay what $20 a month, and plus you got to buy the Stadia, and people have been okay with that.
Yeah.
But buying the games after paying a monthly fee is people don't like that. It's like, why don't you just buy the games and then not give you money?
Right.
So
especially because you don't really own them. Like you don't have a physical copy, you don't have a download. They could just say, "Oh no more Skyrim," and pull it from the Stadia. You know. So,
or if Stadia just itself closes, you've lost all of that money you've invested into it, you know.
Exactly, yeah. Which is, I mean, knowing Google, they close stuff all the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Stadia fails too.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're coming to the end of our podcast. Russ, it's been a pleasure having you. Everyone can find you you've got your YouTube channel, Retro Game Core. You've got your website, retrogamecore.com.
Yeah.
Instagram and Twitter now on the socials.
All Retro Game Core. I do have a Facebook page, but that's for your parents.
Yes. Yeah. As do we, which is like, a lot happening there.
We haven't posted on Facebook in like months.
A month. Like I posted in June about something.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Never even on Facebook.
But yeah, that's about it, folks. Taking us out is another great collaboration of some of our legacy artists. This is Astrogate by Sorcery featuring Evans. Looking forward to all having you back the next one. Keep it neon.
Bye, guys.
See you, everyone.